right here for another interview.
Super Dave here with another exciting Masters of the Universe review, and this time it is Mighty Masters. Masters of the Universe, Mighty Masters. Just take a look at these tiny little figures. You have He-Man here, looking really cool. And just take a look at this. Neat. Love the little artwork on the side there. And it just says Masters of the Universe on the bottom. Some legalese on the bottom there. That way, there's some interesting images there. If you want to look, see kind of what it represents that they will do. But let's go ahead and break open these cute little figures and check them out. And here is our Mighty Masters. You have our vintage style He-Man, even vintage style head. You have a vintage style Skeletor with a vintage style head, and they're looking very vintage. And you can see that He-Man comes complete not only with his chest armor, but even his power sword. And of course Skeletor with his chest armor, even a loincloth that is a little bit it moves around a little bit on Skeletor, but he also comes with his Havoc staff, of course. And that is looking so cool. They look just like they did almost in their 5 1/4 scale original vintage style back in the 80s. Very much so. And let's take a quick look at the articulation. All right, first bringing our little He-Man on in here. The only thing you're really going to be able to do with his head is slightly, just also very slightly move up and down, but very little. He will turn side to side. His arms will go out like that, but there is no shoulder joint other than going around. No elbow joint, no, not even swivel at the wrist, nothing there. Same on this side. Of course, you can remove the power sword. You see how small that is. It's made of kind of a metallic type plastic, not super metallic, but does the trick. The harness looks very reminiscent to the vintage style, even a little loop back here for you to hold his sword, which they did a better job here than the vintage even did back in the day. Now, as far as waist, there's nothing in the diaphragm, of course, but at waist, he launched his sword. Let's see if I can get him to hold it. But isn't that cool? He's got the power punch thing like he did when he was in the vintage. Okay, let's put this over here. All right, he's gonna punch. Yep, he's got the spring-loaded waist, so he's gonna be able to swivel at the waist, but he's got that spring-loaded punching action. He-Man, and I'm He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. All right, so as far as legs, it's going to basically go out like that, back like that, and you can go out to the side like splits. So you don't have the rubber band, thankfully. But you could get him to sit down, kind of like the way they would sit back then. It's hard to get them to sit down with the rubber bands, but, you know, it would make the legs turn out weird like that. So very limited articulation, but nice enough to put on the shelf and just have a cute little Mighty Masterverse He-Man. Mighty Masters of the Universe He-Man. Bringing our Skeletor on over here. Of course, we'll take this Havoc staff off. He's going to be able to look up just a little bit there. He don't have the hair to bother him like He-Man did. Don't really look down much, but he will look side to side, of course. His arms will go all the way around, and that's it. No shoulder, no elbow, no wrist. But yes, 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 he has the spring punch action, just like the original vintage had, and he will rotate at the waist there. Basically go full splits with those legs. Go up, back, I said, he would sit, but it's going to spread everything out. Now, that loincloth is not removable, but it does shift. And you can see that up underneath there, it does have that classic vintage style belt equipped underneath there. Even, well, no furry loincloth, but you see what I mean. That shifts. And he's of course got his armor, but no place to put anything on the back. Yeah, his is removable. I did not realize that. So technically, you can remove Skeletor's chest armor. How about that? Looks very, very much like the vintage action figure as far as that buck. Didn't look to see if He-Man's was removable. Yep, it is. I didn't notice that, but yep, you can remove that by untabbing that. Let's see. Yep, there it goes. Very easily done. So you can see that you can untab and remove his as well. All right. Very nice looking He-Man action figure, even if he is small and has limited articulation. And just to do a quick comparison, here is our Mighty Masters He-Man next to our Constructs He-Man. And you can see that they are looking pretty good next to each other. I like the skin tone better on this Mighty one. And then there is our Mighty Masters counterpart in his Constructs. Kind of like, if you haven't seen those, they're kind of like Legos. That was one of the first Masters of the Universe thing we started seeing before the Origins and the Masterverse hit the shelves. We started seeing these Construct figures, and they really went deep with the line. Even had Castle Grayskull that you could build with Lego style Constructs. But there you have it. And here is the Mighty Masters next to our loyal subjects, He-Man. He came with a sword and a shield, looking really cool there. And then here is our Skeletor's counterpart. He came with a Skeletor type sword, as well as a Havoc staff with a silver head there, looking cool. But there you have it. And thank you so much for joining us for this Super Day review. And I guess there's also Man-at-Arms and Beast-Man, I think, coming out for these Mighty Masters. Haven't seen those yet. They had these at my Walmart, but these are cool. Talk with you soon. Be blessed.